Hey, it's Alan from yourweddinghub.com. Thanks for joining me on our series on wedding rehearsal tips. So this is primarily for those that are officiating weddings, for those of you that are maybe conducting your own wedding rehearsal, because unfortunately about half the time I'm told wedding officiants are not there for the rehearsal. Big mistake in my opinion, but so brides, grooms, talk to your officiant and see if they can possibly be there. In many cases, wedding planners conduct the rehearsal, but this is again to give you some guidelines if you happen to be doing your own. Yesterday I started kind of scratch the surface on the topic of who should walk the bride down the aisle. And I want to just give you some different variations that I've experienced. Obviously the traditional is that the bride would walk down with dad. Well, sometimes we've got unique family dynamics. Mom and dad divorced, stepdad came into the picture, and he was really dad for all intents and purposes. So who should walk the bride down the aisle? Well, I've had a number of different situations in that kind of a dynamic. Number one, where we had dad, biological dad on one side, stepdad on the other, and the bride in the middle, and the two of them escorted her down the aisle. It was not a problem. It worked great. I don't think anyone there thought it was weird. It was just, she said, you know what, I definitely don't want to offend my dad because I honor him, I respect him, I love him, but my stepdad, he's been there, you know, all of my growing up years, and so that was a great way of doing it. I've also seen it where dad, this could possibly work, where you may have the biological dad escort the bride partway down the aisle. The reason I kind of turned and looked over my shoulder is that I'm in one of our chapels here, and we've actually got kind of a two-stage aisle. It's a sort of a dog leg, I refer to it for those of you that are golfers. And so we've had situations where maybe the dad escorted the bride to a certain point, and then the stepdad escorted her the rest of the distance. Now that may sound strange to you, but let me give you a heads up on that. It's kind of interesting symbolism when you think about it, you know. Dad was there for that first part of her life, and then maybe there was a season of time where he wasn't around, but still important. Stepdad, you know, stepped in and kind of walked. So that's another option. Then, you know, sometimes mom and dad, one on each side. Very popular, quite common nowadays. Definitely not unusual. That's the great way of doing it when you've got mom and dad that are not together, but you know, that way they're both, no one feels like they're being snubbed or left out. Let me give you one last tip, and I've suggested this on previous videos, and this doesn't really have a lot to do with the wedding rehearsal, but it's a great tip to kind of bridge those family dynamics. When bride, you get to the very front, you know, traditionally it would be who gives this bride to be married to this man? Dad would say I do, or her mother and I do. Another great tip that I've got for you that to me really works, covers all the different family dynamics, and that would be for your officiant to say, I want to welcome you all on behalf of Tim and Kate, and I just want to ask a very important question as I begin. I want to ask the two families that are represented here. I want to ask Kate's family, and I want to ask Tim's family, do you give your blessing to this marriage today? That includes multiple parents, it includes siblings, grandparents. Both sides are saying, hey, we're here to cheer you on. We want the very, very best for you. I think it's a great solution. No one is left out. No one is singled out. It includes all of them. And I don't know about you, but I think it's important for both families, all the family members to say, hey, we're here cheering you on. We want the very, very best for you. So just a tip that may work for you. Come on back tomorrow because I want to carry on and get a little bit more on some of the practical steps as to how to carry out your wedding rehearsal and do it flawless. We'll see you tomorrow on yourweddinghub.com. Follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook.